Hello and welcome back to an out-of-spec detailing video. I am your co-host Jordan today. Colton's actually holding the camera behind the camera, and behind me is my Tesla Model 3. It's been shown on the channel before. We did a thorough build quality analysis of the car and we were pretty impressed. And now the car today is changing colors, which I am really excited about. We initially spec'd this with the base free paint, the one free paint option, the dark gray, whatever it's called. They always change the name.
Stealth gray.
Stealth gray. We chose that because it's fine. I don't know. I've been used to that color gray on that Model 3, which was called something else.
Midnight silver metallic.
Whatever. The dark gray over there and the dark gray over here, it's fine. They're all dark gray. I thought it was more interesting than black. And I thought that new silver, quicksilver thing would be cool. Ultra red's kind of cool. But, you know, doing one of those, maybe like a matte PPF would be cool, but doing a unique non-factory color really intrigued me. And there's actually a whole brand new color from Avery Dennison, which is what we are installing today. I couldn't even find photos of it because it's so new. They have like one photo of it on a 4 Series BMW that looks pretty much computer generated, so I don't even know if it's real. So this is what we are doing today. Tesbros is here to do the wrapping. I'm going to try to do some wrapping. It's going to be really fun. Let's dive into it.
So Jordan, your Model 3 is already underway on the wrap. So G and his team from Tesbros just finished the out-of-spec Cyber Beast here. We have a full video on that. That'll be live before your car. The white looks incredible. They did an unbelievable job on this thing. Literally knocked it out in a day from start to finish. Like, I brought them the truck. It was completely filthy. They washed it, deconned it, clay barred it, dry it, and they also just wrapped the entire truck so quickly. Blown away with that. Yeah. So let's move over to your car here. So this is, of course, your Model 3 Highland Stealth Gray. You're leasing this car and decided, okay, let's go free color option. Let's do something that's a little bit better on camera and change the color. So G and his team are already working. You can see clay barring down the doors and everything now. Already started taking door panels out. So a little bit more removal of parts here, I would say, compared to what we did on the Cybertruck. You can see the window trims are off. Had to pull the door panels out to do the mirrors. But here is the first look of your color reveal.
So this is satin jade. I was leaning pistachio, and then all of a sudden this came out. So pistachio is very similar to this, just more of a glossy version. And maybe it's the slightest difference in color shade. But when I saw this on the Avery Dennison side, I was like, whoa. And so I'm really excited about it. I really like the satin finish. I'm not totally a super fan of just gloss wraps. They work sometimes for sure, but I like the Cybertruck being satin white, the matte white finish, and I like this for that reason as well. And I like light colored cars. Of course, like I said, this is the base model. The only thing we optioned was the white interior because you have to by law. Not really, but
we definitely should.
You should. And then similar to the Cybertruck, adding Martian wheels really helps as well. I don't have the cool lowered suspension like Colton, but I also enjoy a nice, comfortable ride quality. So
yeah, we can always change that too. We can slam this thing for sure.
This thing would look sick slammed with these wheels, this wrap, the white interior. It's a whole vibe. I'm looking forward to seeing it as it really comes out.
Yeah, totally agree. What's really cool here is how they just start on one panel and you kind of see the car come to life in its brand new color. So we've been filming some other videos here. G is already just knocking this thing out. So I think what's going to be interesting, Jordan, with this video is the Cybertruck over there was all DIY. So pre-cut, templated, and most of this car, there's a few pieces that are pre-cut. Like this area down here was actually all pre-cut beforehand, but we're going to be doing a lot more bulk wrapping on this, which I think will be really interesting to talk to G, see what the difference is, pros and cons versus those. But this already looks incredible. And you can see they had to bulk this entire rear trunk lid here. Looks awesome, dude.
I am such a fan. I love how the taillights really stick out more. against, you know, with a darker colored car, a lot of these details blend into the color. And of course, this was delivered on dark, almost black wheels.
Yep.
So it's really cool to completely change it because now the whole car is going to be brighter. The interior is already the light color. These silver wheels, of course. And I think we're going to do the kind of matte satin black badges, which will also be a nice change. And that way, if I do throw the other wheels on, that kind of pulls those in together as well.
Yeah, I always like having two different sets of colored wheels because you kind of have two different vibes of a car. So wintertime on my Model 3 Performance, I run satin gunmetal MW05s. And then summertime, did I say that right? I don't remember. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Summertime, I run satin bronze, which I think look incredible,
Heck
especially against midnight silver metallic. But yeah, these guys are already going to town. So we'll get them on camera here in a bit, let them explain a little bit about how this is going, film the whole transformation process, and can't wait to see this thing done. So we're going to start working on one of the big sides here. G and team has already knocked out this side. So G, walk me through a little bit what you're doing here. First off, you're getting knifeless tape for some of the big edges, I would say.
Yeah, so I mean, of course you could cut it, but I think, you know, again, it's always about minimizing the risk. So what a knifeless tape is this, I forget what the material is, but you put this tape on and that little pink strand right there is actually what's going to cut the vinyl. So it's called knifeless because you don't have to use a knife. And it's a lot easier for some areas. So on the other side, we actually used it for here.
Yep.
We're not going to knife this here mainly because
Charge port
this opens up and I'm just going to cut it right in this groove and so on. This is an easy one. We also knifeless, if you see, I added almost like a 1/4 inch all the way around because when you do wraps for especially something like the rear quarter panel, you actually want it to go a little bit more inside because if you just cut it right here, and this is a much easier cut if you do it that way, you'll see it. And it looks pretty awful, right? So what we try to do, and I think most professionals will try to do, is try to cover everything from the exterior side of view.
Yep.
So we have everything a 1/4 inch here. We got the edge right there. We got this corner right here. And on the other side, we added a little bit too much material, so I went a little bit less on this side. And then once I go here, this area holds a lot of water.
Yep.
Right?
And dirt and
I
grime.
actually put less material here on here. So what I'll do is I'll cut it right here, and then I'll cut it right to that line, and then it'll fold it in. Because once you look at it at this angle, you won't really see any of the colors. And then and this requires a little bit of stretch right here.
Okay.
This plastic trim in the bottom of the rocker, plenty of space to tuck under. So you can kind of see right here. Look at this, it actually comes out and you could just get a squeegee in.
Yep.
You can put a lot of materials if you want. So just kind of understanding the trims or types of areas you'll be working with. And then this is a lot more involved because we're bulking, but we're kind of doing a hybrid. So we actually have a piece that's already cut to shape.
Okay.
So it's bulk, but we don't have to like cut all the excess.
Yep, you don't have a big solid roll and you're taking sections and chunks out of it.
Exactly. So it's actually shaped like kind of weird and really oblong and stuff like that. So before we start, we pretty much do all the prep, and then we do this is janky, I know, but we put this tape right here. I don't want to remove the whole liner, you know how long that takes and so on, so you really don't have to. We just put a little tape right here so it holds this, and then we clean that area.
Hey, if it works, it works.
And then we can kind of stretch it all the way in. So that's pretty much it. We're about to lay. We just did all the edge prep and so on, and we do use this magnets right here.
Yep.
And magnets, one of the pro tip, is clean your magnets. A lot of times there'll be like a debris right here, and you put it on the vinyl, it'll rip that vinyl. So you always want to inspect your magnets if you're going to use magnets. So
I'm interested to see. I've done more bulk wrapping than the DIY stuff, so I'm more used to this. But this will be quite a bit more involved than Cybertruck and having everything pre-cut. So that's why I want to showcase this here on Jordan's Model 3.
Yep, let's do it. So we got a giant piece right here. It goes out this way. So you can see right here, it isn't a normal shape one. And then this is a long part, so go ahead and line it up here. And it helps to have a few people, honestly. And then they're gonna kind of loosely align it. I have plenty. And then you don't want any slack right there. So we're just kind of lining everything so that this is all straight, so the angle of it matters. Enough coverage everywhere.
Yep.
And then you could use the magnet right there to hold it, so it could move around.
You put this right there.
And then we could put another one. The door is not magnetic, so we can't do it on the door. And then you got plenty right here. We got plenty right here. Why does this fit so much better than the last one?
I think it's we, you know.
Okay. Yeah, so then the other thing is there is a charge port right here. Right, so what I do is I could cut it. So you're not gonna cut it like crazy. Can we make sure that everything's flat? Is that all flat?
Yep.
Just wanting to open up. That's kind of annoying, but
Do you want to put it in car wash mode?
it's okay. Actually, that would be helpful for now, but we do need to open it a little. It's really nice having that slit on the Cybertruck, so much easier.
Yeah.
This one's like one giant piece, and then, oh, yep, you got it? See, sometimes we're spoiled. Okay,
What?
pull that down a little bit. All right, so here's what we want to do next. Is basically, while that's, open it, and then go ahead and go back out. Yep. And then we're going to just try to okay, how's that? All right, so I know that took more time, but we want to make sure, you could inlay this. This is a pretty common one.
Yep.
But we just decided to do a one piece right here. And there's a groove right here, so I could kind of use that to cut it. So basically, once we have everything in line, you actually want to make sure this line is tacked. What happens in vinyl wrapping is if you don't have that tacked and it's sort of stuck in some area and it travels while you're kind of shifting it, you'll get something like pimples.
Yep.
You get all these dots around those. So you want to avoid that, and that's why you want to do this. I'm not really worried about the top, so I'm just going to try to just leave it as is. But for Desto and Marley, I'm pretty much going to glass everything out so that they have a nice little area to work off of. So then glass this area.
And glassing is when you're just trying to get rid of the fingers there and really just kind of smooth everything out.
Yeah, exactly. So I just got this, and then kind of I got plenty of room right here. All right, I'm not trying to tack anything. So this is completely glass, no squeegeed yet. There's no tension. This is a line, so I can have some tension, some wrinkles there. But now, they can pretty much start squeeging below that line, below this line.
Okay, don't go up here yet.
Yeah, not yet.
Okay.
And then I'll kind of show you how we do some of this stuff. You can go ahead, Desta.
So I think this is the main thing I wanted to show with Jordan's car here. Very different from doing Cybertruck. First off, you have curves, but then you're also working with a panel that you really have to mold on here from a big bulk sheet, and that's why they call it bulky.
They're going in to that right there. And then, I got a wrinkle right here. That's no biggie. Can't work my way. And I'm just gonna clean those lines up later. As long as it's clean all throughout, I think that's what I'm looking for. Cool. All right, so I'm just gonna clean it up and just make it a clean line over here. But for this one, I'm just gonna go ahead and use this. And then when I get here, I actually go a little bit like that because there's more coverage right there. And then I could go ahead and tuck that in there. You can actually bend that right there, get under it. And then, this is how the knifeless works. Is that You want to well, I haven't squeegeed anything
Yep.
past here, right? So we do that last.
Yep.
I got a little too excited on that one.
He's ready to go here.
Yeah. So I'm going to clean that out, make it clean here, and then at this point, keeps doing that to me.
These charge sports as of late have been very finicky, especially for me detailing them. They have been a little annoying to play with.
Yeah, and like what you said earlier, the advice of putting it in a car wash mode is actually very useful, right? If you don't need it open all the
Yep.
time.
Sometimes you want it open, like in this case where you actually need it.
Yeah, exactly. Go ahead. So, well, you can kind of see where we squeezed it and where we didn't. We got it all the way up to here. But now that we can go ahead and get the rest of this bottom done as well. So you can kind of see the backing paper. I have it up here. Now we want a little less tension. Oops. There you go. Damn, okay. And I like leaving it like this sometimes, but you want to stretch it a little bit. And the thing about stretching that I think people don't quite understand is if you stretch it out this way, down, it's going to want to pull back this way, right?
Right.
You pull this way, it's going to want to hug all the edges.
Yep.
So that's why even though I don't have to, I can kind of do this and then...
Gonna almost kind of self-wrap itself under there in a way.
Can you just push the middle, the body line, that...
Right here?
Yeah, like, like the wiggly line that you talked about? Yeah, there we go. And we're just halving this, and then, yep, and then I can kind of keep going. And then from here on out, pull back again. I like leaving some level. Okay, go ahead. Yep. Then should be good.
Yeah.
And then you could pull all that back out. Sweet. And then towards the end, there's more curvature right here, so you need to actually heat it. I'll get some heat gun. One thing I like to do is I don't like getting all of them out, because if I pull it, I'm actually pulling the vinyl. If you have the backing paper like we did on the Cybertruck, it prevents stretching in the wrong area. So go ahead and just let's get it down to like up to here. When I pull it, yep. Okay, and then let's just go ahead and sit down. Got a knife somewhere. Sorry, I left it back there. Up there. So there's plenty of room. I'm just gonna cut some excess out. All right, you ready? Go ahead and heat it. Yep. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and, yep, go ahead. Okay. All right, and then pull it down. There we go. And then now you can kind of see right here, it wants to hug a little bit down there. So it's like naturally, if I, for example, heat this up, watch this. It just kind of hugs it. So you've kind of stretched it, and then when it hugs the edges. So that's all good. And then pretty much Desto can use the bottom as a handle. That's why we have so much material. You can pull areas that's not going to be, and even if like that happens, literally pull back out.
Yep. Yeah, it's just so much more involved than working on the Cybertruck, bulking it.
Yeah, it's definitely way more involved. But we do have a do-yourself kit And when we developed it, we spent a lot of time. The difference is everything's going to be seamed, right? So for example, the rocker, that's one piece. This bottom part right here is one piece. Top part is one piece. That's the only way to make it, I think that makes it easy.
Yep.
I mean, I can't imagine like do yourself with zero experience would be able to do this like right off the bat.
Yeah.
Like this one, right? So
The one nice thing about Model 3 is that the kind of B pillar, A pillar area, this whole piece is not one continuous with this.
Yeah.
Those are fun to do.
yeah, okay. I need to glass this a little bit more. So I'm gonna create an exit point right here. In this corner still, and then go ahead and heat this up.
Like right here?
Yeah, onto the valley.
Again, same thing with the heat gun here. Full hot, ready to go.
Of course, it comes out
This charge port.
at the wrong time.
So why wrap glove here instead of a squeegee?
Because I think the squeegee is a lot flatter, and
Yep.
this area is not flat. Right, it's this massive compound curve. Then I could use my palm a lot more effectively.
And really
once-
feed it.
Yeah, and once you get here, you can kind of use a squeegee if you wanted to, honestly.
I think the other thing too, this versus the DIY kind of pre-cut stuff, is you have quite a bit more flexibility for exit routes instead of working, you know, center out. You can work kind of whichever way you need to.
Yeah. Too much. Go.
See, he's getting some wrinkles in there. Heat it back up. That memory brings it back.
Yep, and then just let it sit for a few seconds, and then you could kind of go all out of there. So then, okay, can you give me some right here?
Yep.
So they're already starting on the doors. Now over here, G has done something pretty cool.
Okay.
So he actually has created this door with basically the template of the door handle cut out. So G, is that just on the plotter? Is that how you do that?
So we have a lot of the plotters can only cut from the top side. Ours can cut from the back side.
Which is how you do basically like the
Yeah.
Cybertruck.
And it can cut
slits.
through all the way.
Cool.
So we can actually see the alignment. And you can see this looks funky, but it's because you've probably seen the handles, it does that.
Exactly.
So I focus mostly on the bottom edge because that's what you're looking at from the top down. The top edge, you really don't need a whole lot
Yep.
of material because no one's going to go like this.
Right.
So that's kind of, I know this is not a difficult cut, but I'm always about efficiency, right? So typically if I didn't have that, I would tape the handle with masking tape, double it up, cut around it, and then I'll cut a little bit inside of it. That way I don't damage the handle.
Yep, exactly.
That's all time that I can save, right?
Pretty cool.
Yep, so-
And you actually put this piece over it. So
Yep.
you basically punch that piece out beforehand, put that over it so that when you're applying it to the panel, that doesn't get all stretched out and weird.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then-
Efficiency there is crazy.
Now that this is up, look at this. I always do, oops, I opened it, but I always do the corner first. So we're gonna heat that up real quick in the corner. You always wanna do the tension point first. So this is the tension point.
Okay.
We're gonna go ahead and heat this up right here. Yep, that's it. I'm gonna go in, and then you can see I can start going
Dang.
all the way in, and then can you do this right here? Yep. And then just like that, and then everything here now I can just push in.
That is a pretty cool trick there, my friend. That is really cool.
Makes it really easy. where I think people who don't want to cut stuff, right? So let me just show you the actual outcome of this. So this is what the handle looks like now from the top. So it actually goes in.
Holy cow, dude.
And it's a nice clean install compared to a lot of times if they just cut it, you'll still see the other color.
Yep.
Like that one, you won't really see it. Right?
That's awesome.
So
Love that.
yeah, and then pretty much from here on out, we kind of split it at this body line, and then there's another body line right here. So then, others can kind of come after me. So I kind of do mostly the alignment point,
Yep.
and then they can do the rest after this.
That's so cool. Wow.
Yep.
That goes really quick.
We're getting out of here to work.
Oh, sweet. Yeah.
So here's how they're doing that here. They punch that hole out, putting that on top there so it doesn't stretch.
Yep.
So neat.
Okay.
It's really helpful to have multiple people help you with this.
Yep. So you can see if I didn't have this, it's going to lose some structure.
Yep.
Right? So that helps a lot. Until you actually put some pressure on, I'm missing that by a lot. You can see it now. This is kind of mine. And go down a little bit, Marla. Right there. And then what I do is I just check how much coverage I have.
And the cool thing is if you get it slightly wrong, you just peel it back up and stick her back down.
So I anchor the handle first. Then we're going to use the body line, and Marla's going to pull really over here. Yep. And then I'll pull the bottom right here.
Like that?
Oh, well, there we go.
There we go.
This body line right here. And you could use a wrap glove. You should probably use a wrap glove, but
The tricky thing with using a wrap glove like what he's doing over here is you don't want to have your wrap glove on really when you're touching all that because you're going to get all of that material on the backing adhesive on there.
yeah, exactly. So then once you get to this point, you slowly peel.
Crazy how efficient G is with this. Like he's thought through this so much more than I think a lot of other folks. I mean, you've been doing Teslas for how many years now?
We're on our 6th year now,
Wow.
where we specialize in Teslas.
It's just so cool. So much thought and time, effort, money has gone into figuring all this out. So cool. Now we get to some squeegeeing in here.
You want to cut?
Yep. So I got this bottom line pretty much halved it in two, and then there's a little bit of a bend, kind of like here, but it's not that bad. So everything can go up, and then this one you kind of go side to side. And what we're doing is we're just leaving a lot of air in between, and then you're going from halfway point, and you're not stretching anything, but
Just kind of laying it on there before.
exactly. And this is it's like we kind of call it like seesawing back
Yep.
and forth until you get to this point right here. And I'll kind of glass it. Yeah, pull it out from that side. Yeah, sorry, I opened the door. That's why it's kind of messed up. Accidentally, yeah.
Do you have a squeegee?
No, but it's okay. You got it. Real pro over here. I'm just a holder.
So G, Model 3s, how complicated would you say they are compared to other vehicles? Are they easy, challenging?
I would say medium. They're not really that hard. I mean, if you think about it, it's really flat for the most part.
Yep.
It doesn't require, like the Model 3 Highland's much easier than the previous one.
Oh, really?
So for example, I think the trunk is actually easier on this one. The bumper is certainly easier. The rear bumper is easier because if you remember like yours, it has the little reflector. And that reflector, to cut around it, you have to inlay that area. There's just too
okay.
much tension right there. It's going to
Yep.
fail. It doesn't have any of that, so the rear bumper goes down really, really easy. So yeah, it's not too hard, but it's not like
Just crazy how quick this goes.
Yep.
That side's already clean.
All right, so then now that side's ready. I go to the other side. I do all the cutting, and then they do all the tucking, and then
So it's already squeegeed on that side then.
yep, pretty much all done.
Dang. See, they've got a cool process here going with 3 people. It's really cool. So yeah, this is all completely done, other than edges.
Did you want strips or no?
I'm just trying to close the door because I accidentally opened it. So you can see this is all the way.
Yeah, so that's the nice thing about pulling this window trim out here is that you can really get good coverage under there and you're not trying to put it under basically that groove that you would have up there.
Exactly. Because I opened the door, I'm gonna kind of loosen that up. I don't want a whole lot of tension.
Yep.
And then you want to heat that up. This is hot. And then
So on this edge here, G, you didn't use any sort of knifeless tape.
Yeah.
What's the rationale for doing it, you know, on this bottom area, but not on this door?
so this one's far easier. So I'll show you the cut itself, right? So we do something called bridging, and what bridging is you're creating a bridge between A and B point, right? So
Yep.
once you bridge it, you can get your knife, you can get a small one, you can get a starting point right here like this, and then essentially you just kind of walk your knife to the other side of the
Yep.
edge right here, so that you're not actually cutting on the paint, right? So then I like doing a small, we could like 2 clicks.
Yep.
Mainly because there's a panel right there, so you don't want to go too deep. But I'm almost like I am using the other side like this, and then just lining it up, and then I get to this corner, I slow down, and then I can go real fast, and then just go all the way down, all the way down. And it's really important to bridge. If you don't bridge, it will, what? Oh yeah.
And then you're not going to get proper coverage there.
Right. So then I'm gonna exit out all the way across. So then I'm just gonna follow it real quick. It goes all the way.
Look at that.
And then before I cut the other side, I wanna make sure to tell people like, you actually wanna go all the way in this side.
On this one, because there's
Because-
more of that seam there.
Yeah, so for this one, I actually don't cut it yet. I did cut right here, right?
Yep.
But I can go ahead and start opening this up. And all you need to do is open the front door. So I'm just gonna pop that up. And then once you pop this up, it wants to open and close a little bit more. But you just do this, and then you can start working towards this, right?
Yep.
All right. So
And you
then,
can see that seam if you can just quickly peel that back how much farther in so you'll get better coverage in there. And what's the trick here? I know a lot of wraps fail when you try and feed it into that.
yeah. So a lot of people bridge it. So they do this, and I think a lot of beginners do this where they bridge
Yep.
it,
And then
they
you're trying
push
to
it.
shrink that, and then it's
Too much,
naturally going to
too
pop.
much tension. So you're gonna get bubbles all around that area.
Yep.
There's 2 ways you could do it. You could inlay it, which is a common way to do it, and that will pretty much never fail because you're inlaying it. There's no tension at all.
So inlay would mean that you would probably put a piece in there beforehand or after.
Beforehand, and then this one will go over it. But in this case, I think it'll be fine. But I'll show you like how you feed it. I actually did some heat gun. There's a rubber kind of gasket right there, so I kind of tuck it away first.
Yep.
That's kind of my first thing. Feeding it in instead of bridging that, and then there's going to be some tension point because there's
Yep.
a high point right there. So then I'm just gonna heat it up, and then gently start feeding that in. All right, so if you do it this way, it's less likely to fail. All right. So now if I hit like the middle right here, it's not bubbling up.
Yep.
All right, so that's really the trick, is feeding it instead of bridging it for that area. This side, you can kind of, I gotta be careful about this because I'm pulling this way.
Sure.
So I don't wanna pull too much. But I am
Because then
gonna-
when it heats back up, it'll start to shrink That's how you get it to lift.
Yep. But then I'm using the edge, which makes it that it's probably not going to fail.
Yep.
Very
Gotcha.
unlikely.
Cool. Well, this is looking awesome here.
Right, so we're wiping down the panel, getting it ready. You don't want to wrap, obviously, over any dust, dirt, debris. Paint nibs, that's another thing. We've seen a few in this car, but not much. I mean, from our initial build quality review, it's really impressive.
All right, so we got this panel.
Okay,
Do you want to do alignment or do you want me to do the alignment?
I don't know. How does that work?
I don't know, we'll find out. All right, so just so you know, this is a transfer paper that's clear, so you can actually see where it goes.
That's brilliant.
Okay?
Okay.
So what we want to do first is peel the whole thing. So you're going to go to the other side, and I'll pass you the paper.
Okay.
Okay. There we go. And just go in a diagonal. And then, go ahead, all the way. Cool. And then we're just gonna lay it down. And I'll be on the other side so you can actually light it.
Okay.
Then I'll kind of tell you where. All right, so we're gonna, you notice that right now it's gonna float.
Yeah.
It's gonna float real nice. All right, so you're gonna go a lot more on the bottom. All right, so like this one, this is really close,
Okay.
but you probably want a little bit more in the bottom.
Okay.
And this is actually really close though. So let's go ahead and
So
go
up
back
with
up.
it?
Yep. And then, how's it look?
I think your direction a tiny bit.
And the whole thing needs to be covered.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and look at it now. And I just push it down, and right now this is a lot more material on this side, and there's very little material once you push it. So we need to go a little bit more towards me. A little bit more to the right. How's that look?
That looks better. Yeah.
All right, so I'm just gonna lay it down.
Still more, G. I don't know exactly how.
Yeah, so there's good amount right here. So actually, this isn't too bad.
Yeah.
But you can go just a little bit more this way to the right.
Yeah, I think
Perfect.
No.
worse.
It's hard. Every time it pops off, it's like
I
it's
think you're better there.
redone.
Okay, now push it in. Oh yeah, that's solid. And you see how you have a lot more meat in the bottom?
Yeah.
And you see, okay, so now that we're good,
Okay.
you're gonna get the squeegee, you're gonna half it, and you're gonna go out this way. Just like that, yep. And then that's it. And then go out to here, to the other side of the handle.
Other pin.
Yeah, right here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. And then since you've never done this before, you want to hold it with 4 fingers like this, with a thumb on top like that.
Okay.
And you don't want to go like this, because when you do that, you can't actually see what you're doing,
Yeah.
right? So we're going to make sure that this is all squeegeed out. And then we're going to go ahead and remove this. So this transfer paper is a very, very low tack, which makes it easy to remove without any issues,
Nice.
right? So here's the way we're going to squeegee it. First off, you actually want to anchor what we call the body line, just like that. And the reason why we do that is because this is a high point, so the door is like in a more triangular like that.
Yep.
If it travels around and it sticks in some areas, I don't know exactly what it's called, but it'll create some pimples, right? It'll create these dots. So you don't want that. So we've kind of halved it.
Yep.
And you and I, since we already got all this is the pattern. I think this is what I was showing yesterday when I was teaching you. And is it Tegan?
Timing.
Timon. I couldn't pronounce his name.
close.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all right. No one can.
I was like,
Those Dutch folks over there.
you don't want to go 90 degree. You really want to go like 15 degree
Okay.
and go like this angle right there. So go ahead and try that since we have it here.
And-
So like this, your 4 fingers in the bottom, and then try to go this way.
Okay.
So try to do that. There you go. And then pop this real quick. Yep, and then you should be good. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. So that's fine if that happens. And then hold on. We're gonna use some heat real quick. Molly, can we have a heat gun?
Heat gun's back here.
Okay. So that means your angle was too aggressive.
Okay.
So check this out, bro. You just let that go, and
Wow.
everything just goes away.
Just gone.
And then make your angle instead of like this. Yeah, the other way.
Okay.
There you go. And then try that. And then one motion. You're just trying to travel all across.
So I left some air here.
That's okay. There you go. You got
There
it.
we go.
And then let it out. And then from here on out, you got about 2 inches up. You could just go straight up
Okay.
at that point. And I think the number one thing that a lot of people don't do is they pet it a little bit too much. So you want a decent amount of force, but not overly too aggressive, right? So we got pretty much half of it done at this point. And then we are going to now glass this. So go ahead and let's go ahead and push that up. There you go. And then you're gonna pull it from the bottom and pull it across. So you see this line, you're gonna pull it across this way, but that should be good. And for this, you technically don't have to glass it. So what you could do is just let it loose like this. And we're gonna hold it, and you and I are gonna do half at a time. So you're gonna start here with me. So overlap me, so I went like this. You're gonna overlap me and then go that way. There you go. And then you go a little harder so you can see some air that's left behind.
Okay.
So go a little harder, so go ahead. And then I'll go again. Overlap you, and then that's perfect, yep, cool. And then the next. And then I'm gonna go next. There you go. Getting it.
Not so bad.
No, not at all.
There you go, Jordan.
He's got it.
So in here, Jordan, make sure you pop that out a little bit so you feed that in there.
You start, there you go. It's starting to bridge, right?
I think I got a. I don't know what that is.
That's just,
Here.
yeah. So that one, there's some stuff on it. Let me see. You got a microfiber? Can you give me a clean microfiber?
What do you think?
Yeah. It's delicate process.
Well, we're challenging.
Wipe that down before you guys do anything on that.
I thought they just threw material at the car and just stuck.
So I think for this one, there is a small, it might be a contamination. This is a little risky. It could be contamination. It could be trash. It most likely is contamination, and you could actually get it out. So one trick I did was get alcohol, but then that's so much in the middle.
Yep.
You have to kind of pick and choose,
You
like,
could
do
probably
I?
make it worse.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think we're gonna, if you're okay with that, can I move on? And then we're not bridging anything all the way.
Get that a little bit more right there, Jordan.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep, and then go all the way to the line, the body line. Boom. You got it. All right, so now we do the same thing, and this is all loose. We're gonna start from the middle again, and just continue to go down. Oh yeah, he's got it now.
There you go.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah. Cool.
One little spot right here, Jordan.
All right, so that sucks. Now we have to take it all apart. I'm just kidding. So this right here can just be pushed out.
Oh wow.
Isn't that wild?
I don't know where the air goes,
Wow.
but it works like that. So this is really good. And then really at this point, Jordan, you could do the edges right here. I'm gonna go ahead and heat this. All you're gonna do is focus on pushing that in.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go ahead and heat that first. Okay, go ahead and push that with your finger. Go ahead. No, push the corner right there. There you go. You're kind of like hooking it, so like you're just holding that down. Yep. Yep.
Yep.
There you go. And then after that, you want to do this right here. Okay. Yep. And then the rest, right here. You can use a squeegee. And just make sure right now this is trying to bunch up.
Yeah.
So before we push it in, let's try to fix that a little bit.
Plenty of room.
Yep. Go ahead and pull from this side.
From right here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then put it on the fender. You got to pull upwards a little bit more because the fingers are. Yeah, you pull that top. There you go. All right, and then tack it real good on the fender, and then still pull. Kind of do this, and then pull. Yep. And then tack it to the what used to be a bumper, and then squeegee. That's it.
Is it better to go down the middle or that side?
I would start from the middle and then go outwards. So yeah. Yep, and then split it, and then do the motion. Want to get that side?
So here's the middle. Don't pull this that way because there's
Okay.
a.
This is mine.
Yeah.
You're still the
Am
audience.
I still doing?
Yeah. You good?
Okay. All right, so give enough. Is it even, Marley? I can't see. Lower it.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, about here.
Same.
Oh, that's a great stretch. Yeah. Hold on. Go ahead. There you go. All right. That's it. We're done. Let's go. Squeeze it all down. All right.
Looks great.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, you got a squeegee? Okay. So what we could do, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to strategize this a little bit because, like I said, Desla does customer support, Marley does videos, so they're not rappers, right? So normally, if we have someone, who does it, we'll just stretch the crap out of it.
Yep.
And then hook it. But in the midst of that, it's really hard to be like, move your, right arm to like 45 degrees and then like all that, because it's almost like feel. So I think for this one, the best case scenario is like, we kind of start from the center and then do one side. And then unless you want to try to do a full, you want to try it?
I mean, we can.
And if it doesn't work, then it's like good for video.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
All right, let's try it then.
Wait, if you're both doing it, how am I doing that?
You're just heating, kind of like. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you could go out to in,
Okay, I can do that.
but or into out. You could go into out, but then you go top to bottom. All right. This is the length, though. Okay. This is the level that you want to be. You don't want to go higher or lower. If anything, we want to go a little bit lower because we need a lot more room in the bottom. There's a lot of material we need. Okay. And then Marley, you can kind of point us out if you feel like we're not stretching enough.
Okay.
Right, start from the center, get attention.
Love the technique here. This is awesome.
You have enough, Dustin?
Yep. Got it.
All right, once we start pulling a little bit, Desto, you're gonna feel it stretch a little bit, and I'll let you know.
Okay.
All right. Go lower. Lower. Yeah, there you go. How's it looking, Marlon?
So are you actually shrinking this here in the middle, G, or trying to stretch it a little at the same time?
We're gonna stretch it and then shrink it after. All right, we're gonna pull, pull, pull. Don't contact, no contact. Keep heating. Okay. And then we're gonna go lower, 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 lower. All right, and then contact slowly, and then Molly, you can.
Timing's in there.
And then pull that bottom while you're doing that, Marley. You gotta pull the bottom. You see how tight this is right here?
Yep.
That's how you want it. How'd it go? Pretty good. All right, so that's pretty good for a first attempt. All right, so the tension here feels good because once I cut this out, you want it to just swoop in. If you don't have a lot of tension, it's gonna, like all this too, I can literally just pull this out. All right, so at this point, we can, Marley, you can do this one, Desto, you can do on this side, doing this. So everything from here is good. I wanna go from here and then outwards. So you're gonna be on this side, and then we're gonna, everything from here is fine. Everything from here, we need to stretch a little bit out more. Okay, we have enough materials and all that. So if you wanna just anchor it a little bit. All right. Okay, go ahead, Marley. Yep, there you go.
So you're shrinking it back now, G?
Not quite yet.
Still checking.
Still stretching.
I'll show you when we're actually shrinking back. All right, here. And really, what I'm looking for is this little, you see this? Can you push it right here? Someone push it.
Push what? This?
Push like the surface of the paint. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I just need someone to anchor it while I'm doing that. Is that, you see how it's cupping all that? And then once you heat it, it just kind of conforms even more. So there's very little pressure right now, and then this is all flat. This will all go in. And then there's a little, you know, this is pretty good. One feedback, again, this is people who never do this, you know, is that we didn't stretch a whole lot. So that's what I'm saying is like, you got to understand how much you're pulling both right and left.
Yep.
It's hard to do, right? So this is pretty good, but this is workable where we can kind of fix it.
Trying to do this by yourself is crazy,
Yeah.
too.
Same thing? Yeah, it is. All right. And it's a lot more, we'll start from about here and then work our way out. Okay? Yeah. Go ahead. Someone the top behind where Marley is. Me too. Yep, there we go. Oh shit, we fucked that up over there. Yep. And then, yep. All right. Did we mess that up? Oh, that's fine. But you see this right here? Because we stretched it,
Yep.
there's no more all that coming in on this side. So that's kind of how we would typically want it. And then I'll show you about shrinking it. Look at this over here. It just kind of lays down, right?
Crazy.
So this one is all workable. That we don't need a whole lot. I think we could. There you go. So just kind of looking through it, there's no tension. I mean, there's a lot of tension, but there's not a whole lot of wrinkles here. And then because we went horizontal like this, it's wanting to kind of fold over all the edges. That's what we're doing.
Cool.
So we get a squeegee, and then I'll squeegee this so you can do the other side.
You know what I'm supposed to do? You already have it. Oh, there's one behind you.
All right, just so you can do the passenger side. So we can go ahead and start center. This.
Some more heat.
Typically I can cut this, but I can, go ahead, heat it up a little bit.
Another.
Yeah. Yep. Just like this vesta. It's the sensor hole, the tow hook.
More.
Yeah, we can kind of go all the way out. And then before I actually squeeze it, I let it sit a little bit. You don't want, to go right away because then you'll get some marks sometimes.
And every film's kind of different with that, right? When you heat it up, some
Yeah.
films are like pretty quick. Some you really have to let kind of cool.
Exactly. This one's pretty good. Hasn't really been an issue. Kind of just going all the way out. And then, of course, they have all of this right here. So I'm just going to go ahead and get it all down. This looks really good. It's underneath. That's good. Yeah, just hold on. Cool.
So, and then this area here, you just work in with heat.
Yeah, and then you could use either a wrap glove. So go ahead and heat that, Marley.
The whole bottom?
Not the bottom, but the... Do you have a glove? Yep, and then same thing, just let it sit for about 5-10 seconds.
Wow. That's wild.
And then do the other side.
Is there a point of where you stretch it too much, you can't do this?
Yeah, films are about 15 to 30% stretch. That's a lot.
Yeah.
It just depends on the film.
Do you want to get that to record out first?
Pretty wild.
Yeah, that is.
Sorry.
Okay, so this is good to show. What's happening is there's just so much tension that it's creating. It got trapped, right? So the air got trapped right here. So first, I'm just gonna see if I could get rid of it. That looks pretty aggressive. So before it gets to that point, you kind of want to stop, and that's kind of why I say always look. But once it gets to this point, sometimes you have to remove it, which is not really an issue. So we'll just go ahead and remove it up here. You ready to heat? Keep that where, yep, and then Desto, you know what to do. And then, yep. Yeah. You gotta get the lines, Marley. If you see lines. Yeah, there you go.
It's like it never even happened.
It's crazy.
Yep, so we got rid of that. And then this was, I think, where it stopped. So then we can kind of move all that. And then same thing, Marley, go ahead and get all this, and then I'll get the wrap
Yep.
glove. And same thing with this, it's so important to let it sit. If you do it, you'll get like, it's like heated lines. So you never want to heat at the point of tension. So if it's like held and there's a lot of tension in one area, you don't want to put too much.
It's so cool to watch that.
Right
Where?
there.
Yeah. So now, kind of want to mention, I could actually start doing my cuts. I think Desto and Marley, you can go ahead and go around all the other areas and start squeegeing. All the way up here, you can kind of hold it up. This part looks pretty good, but Marley, give me some more heat. I'm gonna pull it up. Yep. And then someone just push it down into that corner.
Which one? This one?
Yeah, whatever the paint is. There you go, that's the paint right there. I always look for this corner right here to kind of tack, because that's very important. And then all of this is gonna go away. So while they do that, I can start doing the more technical stuff. And then you can see in the bottom right here, because of all the tension, I mean, we didn't squeeze any of that yet.
That's
But
wild.
it automatically just
Yep.
swoops in and stuff like that.
That's the hard part with bumpers, especially like I've very much struggled down here when I'm doing it myself. And then you have this like big clump there and you're trying to work it out and then it always peels back because you didn't get the stretch right.
Yeah. So really, at this point, you can just, like, there's no tension at all. But look how much space this is. This is a whole like 4 inches.
Dang.
That's a lot of material that you need to feed in. But you can see, because we stretched it, there's zero tension. I mean, there is tension, but it's like distributed across.
It's in the right place.
Yeah, so I actually don't have to work so hard.
So they've removed the bumper now. Gee, why is, or what is the rationale, I guess, for removing the bumpers? Just helps get down those edges a little bit easier?
It's for my health, for my back.
Okay, fair enough.
Think about, even though it's on a lift, which is really nice,
Yeah.
I'm cutting this edge right now, and I'm facing not the tires, but the actual bumper.
Yep.
So I could literally just get my knife like this and just go down comparatively to trying to,
Yeah.
get around the tires, wheels, or whatever. And then I was able to do that in a few seconds, right? So the amount of time that it takes to remove this is literally like 5 bolts here.
Yep.
And then 2 10mm on the sides. That's pretty much it in a few clips. So it makes it worthwhile, I think, to get the coverage and then also to be able to get a cleaner cut like that. So
Fair
you notice, like, I just put just enough, and then I posted everything, and just right to the edge.
They've been making some serious progress here. And if you look over here, the front bumper is now back on. So what do you think of the color now that you're seeing more and more of it?
It's so good. Like, better than whatever rendering Avery Dennison shared.
Yeah. Color looks a lot better, I think, than some of the early photos I've seen. So let's see how this is looking now. Dang. Dude, looks awesome.
Yeah, jeez.
Wow. Cool. So what are we doing on the rear end here? You wanted to do something special with the rear badge?
Yeah, some people add dual motor badges, or some dual motors add performance badges. That's up badging. That's lame.
Yeah, because
I'm
you
just-
don't have a big motor. This whole space here, there's no motor in
This
there.
is the base model. So I am doing just badging because I didn't put anything on the back. So I'm putting just a motor instead of dual motor.
Okay.
Using a dual motor badge. That's the plan anyway.
So let's see what we got back here. So back here is where the dual motor normally goes.
Yeah, here's the
And what you're going to do here is essentially it's going to be a motor. So just one.
In my head, it's great. It'd be cool with
That's
an
awesome.
underline too, like the performance underline. But
Yeah, just under A or something like that. Dang, dude, this is looking pretty sharp. So they've only got a few more pieces left. These pieces that go all above the windows here, mirrors, and then just reassembling, you're pretty much done.
yeah,
They started this thing yesterday morning.
almost afternoon at that by the time it was like prepped and stuff. So
Yeah, it's crazy. Really nicely job here. So yeah, you can see this with the Cybertruck over there. We're gonna get some photos after we're all done. Take these things outside. It's gonna look freaking awesome. So this is a cool little template that Tesbros has created here that actually hooks on the latch here. So you have exactly where the T emblem comes in.
Yeah, so it goes right into this latch, so there's not really a way to.
That's perfect.
Yep, and then you just kind of the T is, you know, and then there's a little little ledge right here, so you have to go all the way in. And I put felt in the back so it doesn't scratch anything.
Yep, perfect.
So this is vinyl. Well, it'll be sand black. This is kind of like a sand black too, but it's more raised.
I feel like the race is cool, but what do you think? I don't know.
I like the raised personally because it looks more emblem-like.
Yeah.
That's what
So what we like to do for these is, these are pretty easy, is that you can just take this out,
Yep.
and then I use that as a template.
You know how weird I am, Jordan, about getting badges in the perfect spot?
Yeah.
I take way too much time to do this, and G's just figured it out with this little...
I was gonna say, what's your method then?
It's a pain. I made a whole video on it.
All right, so you just
Wow.
Just like that.
like that,
Colton,
and then
much easier your life can be.
God.
I just put it down. And I slowly take it out. I do push it down with like a flat down, and then you can use this now to get that perfect.
Perfection.
If I'm using an emblem that's not on a template like this, I'll use this and I'll put it on the vinyl and I'll take out the vinyl afterwards. Because in that way it's still pretty accurate. So then we just need to remove just the vinyl one. There. I'll pick that up.
I think G's done this a few times.
Yeah, look how quick he's doing that.
I'd still be looking at.
Like, what do I do with this thing?
And then once you get it right, just hold it down. And then
Wow.
Silky smooth.
yep. So
Easy peasy.
and then I do get like a and it takes about what, like 24 hours to fully
Yeah.
kind of adhere. So we just kind of leave it on like that.
So here is a motor because we only have a rear wheel drive Model 3.
Perfect.
Love it.
Everything is done. They went through all the edges and corrected all the little edges, which is cool. They actually marked it with tape so they wouldn't forget where it was later, which I thought was a pretty good strategy. And what do you think, Colton?
Yeah, love it. Looks so cool.
Color is incredible, and especially with the silver wheels, white seats, definitely a good vibe if you ask me. And now we're just throwing on a quick ceramic coating, and then I'll head out of here. But yeah, pretty impressive to see how it all came together, and it's impressive to see how the team knows what they're actually doing. I don't know. The DIY Cybertruck wrap seems like relatively approachable for me. And this, I mean, doing the one panel just showed me like I have a lot to learn.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, this is, so we're just putting on Clean by Pan, the organizer's coating here. And G's helping me knock it out. Timon's doing the wiping.
Yeah.
This is the way to go. We're going to have this coated in like 15 minutes.
Yeah, speed coating with the like 4 people. It's awesome. But I don't know, what are your thoughts, G?
Looks awesome. I love it. I love the color. This is, I think, from my knowledge, the first Model 3 in satin jade by Everyday Medicine.
Yeah, huge fan. I almost went, I mean, you knew I was back and forth a bit, almost went pistachio.
You didn't. And you did it.
Timon didn't like pistachio as much, but yeah, I like the satin finish quite a bit. The coating gives it a nice, even further additional little bit of sheen, and the protection, of course. So yeah, great work by Tesbros, and geez. Now I gotta try to wrap my own Miata someday.
Jordan, you now have a fully transformed car. This thing looks stunning. Big thanks to G.
Didn't even recognize it. Yeah, thank you, G. This was
No problem.
incredible. and the Mac was cool too. But this is like clearly what was cool. I'd be curious, like what, looking back, and now obviously you've done a bunch of Highlands at this point. What is the like easiest and hardest pieces?
I'll say easiest is hood.
Yeah.
You just gotta make sure.
Even I could have done the hood.
The dust control's a little bit hard because it's not usually like a sealed.
Yeah.
So there was, we battled some hair. We battled some probably compound.
Oh, lots of compound dust.
So that's always a challenge. And I would say the hardest would be the trunk.
Yep.
Even though it's a little bit easier to kind of get into the tail light,
Yeah.
it's still a pretty large amount of stretch to kind of get across that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Makes sense. What do you think, Colton?
I think it looks incredible. I'm actually surprised I like this color. When you originally sent me this, I was like, what are you doing? But seeing it all done, white interior, black badges on it now, it looks really cool. And I love the kind of reflections you get off of the more satin look on here. I do think the coating actually did help kind of bring out a little bit more color, a little bit more sheen,
Yeah.
but it's still very nice and even throughout.
I agree.
Yeah, I am glad it went satin. I mean, it was a huge debate on what to do. I looked at matte colors 'cause I think they're cool, but Kyle really didn't like the matte. And then, like I said, almost went pistachio, and then at the last second, this came out.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, this is basically satin pistachio, so
I mean, I think it's a good choice.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Love it. I'm going to quickly walk around here, but thanks to G and his entire team for coming out here, knocking this out. I mean, it just looks so cool. Not another stealth gray Model 3.
yeah, we knew that couldn't last forever.
No, definitely not. Well, guys, thanks so much to G and his team over there. Really appreciate you guys. You guys have been awesome here.
Let's go.
And yeah, I'm sure we have many, many more projects we can do, but this came out amazing. Cybertruck came out amazing. All those other 2 videos will be in the link in the description below. Everything from G will also be there. So if you want to purchase some DIY kits, Tesla accessories, I mean, hook these guys up. This guy's the man. So really appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in another one soon. Bye-bye.